is Dr. Kevin Pybus, and I'll hand over the mic to you. So before you have your notes.
Okay. I don't know who I'm talking to here, I guess. Both crowds, the front and the back. Here's the format. We'll begin by giving each ticket 2 minutes to introduce yourselves and to say a little bit about your platform. Then I will come back and ask the presidential candidates a question, and each presidential candidate will answer that question, and then I'll come back and ask a question of the 3 vice presidential candidates. You have a minute or 90 seconds to answer those questions. Next, each ticket will be allowed to ask 1 question to the other tickets, so 2 questions per ticket. 30 seconds to pose the question, 1 minute answer, and a 30-second rebuttal. And then the remaining time of our hour will be taking questions from the audience. And then after the questions, we're going to try to wrap up precisely at 6, but each ticket then will have 1 minute to summarize and state their closing argument. So, any questions? So I guess we'll just begin on my left here. Let this ticket introduce themselves and say something about your platform. Let me say 2, because of the time constraints, I have a timekeeper here who will poke me in the rib. And if you run over time, I will politely interrupt you and just say time, and we'll move on. So, okay.
First off, let me thank Dr. Pybus and the other candidates for being here. Let me thank SGA for hosting this event. I guess we'll start out talking a bit about ourselves. First thing is we want to talk about is our experience. I'm going to talk a little bit about my, experience both inside and outside of Missouri State, as probably most of you guys guessed. I'm going to start out with my experience outside Missouri State. Now, I was warned several times by many people not to talk about high school while I was up here. They said no one in college cares about high school anymore. But I'm going to anyway, just briefly. Because my high school experience was very unique. I was not only the student body president of my high school, I was a student rights advocate. Now everyone in here, think to yourself, who's heard of a student rights advocate in high school? 1 person. Awesome. That's why it was unique. I didn't just represent my student body as a whole. I taught students their due process rights. I taught them their family privacy rights. And I represented them not only inside courtrooms, but also inside their own administrations. Let me talk about a few other things that I've done in my life. I would encourage you guys to ask the other candidates how many of them have worked for the federal government. How many of them have worked for the state government? Those are 2 governing bodies that determine Missouri State's budget. In every instance where I worked for these large administration bureaucracies, I made these administrations more responsible to the students they represent, or to the citizens they represent. Making administrations more responsible to the people they represent is something that I have a long history of. Now I'm going to talk briefly about my experience here at Missouri State. I've been here for 1 year, as most of you know. I'm a current pledge educator for Phi Gamma Delta. I helped write our original colony bylaws. I'm one of 20 senators in SGA that represent the entire student body as opposed to 1 student organization. I'm also a graduate from Emerging Leaders. I'm in the Honors College, and I don't know if this time is divided between both of us, so I'm going to hand it to Aaron.
I'm sorry, it's not. No, that's Tom.
I'll introduce myself later.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Zach Smith, and I am a junior political science major.
And I'm John Maddox. I am a sophomore biology education major.
And John and I are really happy to be here tonight to share our vision for Missouri State, one that we feel can be realized by everyone on campus. Our experience at the university allows us to understand the issues facing students and the best ways to go about solving them. We developed our platform based on our experience and involvement on campus. This stems from working with a variety of different groups, from Residence Life and Services to Greek Life, and from orientation to Student Government Association.
I'm going to talk just a little bit about our platform. Zach and I want to save students money. We want to do this by working with the bookstore to guarantee you 50% of your money back when you go to sell your books back. We want to cut cabinet payroll next year, including our own. Zach and I would also like to be a stronger voice for students through the Student Government Association. We want to expand recognition for students and organizations, and we want to get students involved in the renegotiation of our dining contract next year. We want to make our campus a better place by working with Safety and Transportation to install a system to enable GPS tracking on our shuttles so we know where they are. We want to implement a truly campus-wide recycling program. Zach and I would like to further academic achievement, bringing a downtown computer lab to campus, color printing to students, and working with the Office of the Provost to strengthen the I-grade professor evaluation system. Most importantly, we want to stay focused on student concerns. This election is not about us, it's about you, and we understand that.
Good evening. We'd like to first start by commending the other tickets for taking the time to run in this election. In light of a lot of criticism that's come out in the standard recently, we just want to commend you all for taking the time to run, because we know a lot of effort and a lot of energy has gone into this process, so we commend you for that. But most of all, we commend you guys as students for being here at this debate tonight. Being an informed, educated voter is very important, and being involved in this process is important, something that Chris and I feel strongly about, and we've advocated for at every stop we've made along the campaign trail. And we really appreciate you guys being here tonight.
While the student body president and student body vice president cannot turn around the ailing economy, both officials impact students' lives every day here on campus. Next year, students will be faced with the implementation of plus-minus grading in classes starting at 7:30 in the morning.
Next year, more than any other, we really feel that it's important for us as students to make sure that we have a good student body president and vice president that is going to represent students and student interests. In this election, we feel there are two very important things important to your election decision. Number one of which is platform, and number two is experience. Now, we know some of the other tickets may disagree with us on the importance of platform, but we think it's really important in that it gives insight into the candidates that wrote them. Not only do the items offered on each platform offer insight into the candidate's ability to identify issues that are facing students and formulate solutions to address those problems, but also we feel that it gives, the way the platforms are put together, gives you some insight into how these candidates will do once elected as student body president and vice president.
Chris and I feel as though our 11-page platform shows how detailed we are, and that we will never walk into an administrator's office with a half-thought-out plan. We offer the following platform links: sustainability, student life, and Senate. And for more details, we have a long version and a short version. Please check out our website, KristenKristen09.com.
Kristen and I have 7 years of experience in SGA, 3 of which we've served on cabinet, and that's allowed us to see the good, the bad, the ugly. We've seen what's worked, what hasn't worked, and we really feel that that equips us to effectively advocate for you guys as students. However, we've also been very actively involved in every avenue of campus, recruiting prospective students, and hopefully more stuff that we'll be able to get into. But thank you guys, and we look forward to your questions.
Do the candidates have the questions in front of you? Okay. I'll read it. I would have read it anyway, but so this is for the presidential candidates, and we'll just go down the road like we did. Each of you will have 90 seconds to answer this. The question is this: if elected president of the student body, what do you personally view as the duties of the position of president of the student body? Additionally, what qualifications do you believe you possess, and what experiences have you had that would make you most qualified for the position?
Thank you, Dr. Pybus. I always thought it was humorous that they ask you 4 questions and give you 90 seconds. Well, can you remind me what the very first question was?
The duties. How do you understand the duties of the office?
Okay, thank you. What I believe to be the student body president's duties is his obligation to the students. There's nothing else the student body president is obligated to. Well, there are some other things that he should work for, but his very first obligation should be to the students. Anything that he is asked to accomplish or give an opinion on, the first interest he should have is the students. He shouldn't say, well, how do the faculty members feel about that? Is this good for the janitor? Is this good for Dr. Nitzel? Those are